Hey everyone, today I will tell you how to fix an electric door lock on a Mercedes GL, ML and R class. Let's start with the issues that are common for this lock. So what may occur? When you close the door, you might see that the door is closing, but the lock isn't locking the door. The second issue is if you see that the door is closing, but the lock actuator isn't working. And the third issue that might appear is that when locking, this lock makes a noise. Yeah. To fix that, we will need to open only electric part of the lock. You won't need to disconnect the mechanical part of the lock from the electric part, because all of the issues happen right here. To open this part, you will need to use a pair of nippers, because this lock is held by small pins right here. These pins are kind of glued inside, but what I usually do, I actually just cut the head of this small pin and keep the other part inside, because afterwards you will need to drill a small hole and use small screws to actually lock this case afterwards. So after you cut all the pins, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 pins. After you cut the heads of the pins, you will be able to actually open the case by just moving it upwards. And here's the lock. To fix the lock, we'll need to disassemble it. We will start with this gear by just putting it upwards. Afterwards, we will need to lock the lock itself. So you just let me unlock it first. So usually you'll have it unlocked and you won't be able to move this gear. So you just lock it. And then you will be able to move this gear to the right side. Hold it with your finger, and then you'll be able to take out this part. Take out this part. And take out this part. It's going to be the hardest part of the work, but you'll manage to do it. So basically the lock is disassembled. Few parts that are left are the motors. You just pull it upwards. And using this kind of a tool, just snap it in and move it upwards as well. Make sure you don't lose this small part, which is holding the engine. So what are the issues with the lock? First, and I would say the most common issue, is this place. My lock is already fixed, but I'm showing you on my fixed lock what should you do. Usually you will have a this part will be broken. Mine is already fixed with a metal nippet. I'm sorry, not nippet, rivet. But yours probably will be broken on this side, which means that this gear won't move only on the left and the right side. It might move downwards. It'll just stop working. To fix it, you will need a rivet. Actually, you don't need the nail of a rivet. You only need the head of the rivet. You probably can find it in any repair store in your town. So you just find a rivet of the right size so that the head of the rivet will fit this part. Afterwards, you'll need to make it a little bit smaller on the edges. Otherwise, it might lock somewhere here, right? So when you'll be using this rivet, you'll have to drill a small hole 90° just downwards. And to fix the rivet inside, I was using 2-component epoxide glue. So you just use the glue the inside of a place that you just drilled, and put the head of the rivet inside and wait for, I don't know, like 30 minutes. This should fix the broken plastic part right here. And I'd say that this fix is gotta work for centuries, because nothing can happen with the rivet. The other 3 issues that might happen with your lock is this part might be broken around here or around here. Unfortunately, this part is not replaceable, so you probably gotta find a welder who will weld this part so you can reuse it once again. And another issue that might happen with your lock is these motors. They just die. So how can you check your own motor? I was using a battery, 2 wires. You just connect the positive and negative sides of the battery wires. And then using other 2 sides of the wires, you can check the motors. You just put the wire inside there. It'll be working. So what can you check? Put your finger on, and if you feel that it is still working, then the motor is fine. If you feel that as soon as you connect your finger to the motor, it stops and never starts working again, then it's broken. Another way how you can check the motor, just move it around, and if you hear that something is moving inside here, then probably it's going to be broken. From my experience, I would say that it is better to replace both motors, because I bought just one, and in like 2 weeks another one was broken as well. So I'll leave a link in the description where you can buy the right motors for the lock, because these motors together cost around, I don't know, around $30, and original lock costs about $300, and Chinese replacement is around $200, but I wouldn't recommend buying it, because most of the parts are very poorly done, and they're going to be shaking and moving around, so I don't know how long the Chinese motor and lock will be working. So let's start reassembling again. So you fix that. You might fix this part by welding it. And you replace 2 motors. So to reassemble again, let's start with the motor. It has a place where it actually locks. Here's the hole and here's the hole. So you just start by pressing it in the first place, first fitment place, and then using your finger just move it forward so you can fit it in. That's it. Yeah, the motor is in. Second thing that we gotta be fixing, putting in back is this motor. Just put it in back, but hold this plastic part with your fingers so you won't broke it. Here it is. It is in. Afterwards, you take this gear, move it to the right, and then squeeze in this hardest part gear. Right? And just make sure that you actually put it in the right spot, otherwise it's going to be just moving around and I don't know, just randomly moving around. Afterwards you just put this gear on, right? Again, move this part and make sure that you lock this gear right here and this part put right here, right? Okay. That's basically it. That's it. I forgot about another issue that might happen with your lock. In some cases, you'll have an issue that while trying to lock your lock, you won't hear any click. Nothing will happen actually. In this case, you'll have to using this gear, I'll show you. So mine is working, but I'll kind of break it to show you. All right. So in case you're trying to lock the lock and it's not doing anything, you'll need to rotate this gear clockwise until you hear a click. After it is done, the lock's going to be working again. And when you're going to be placing the cover, make sure that you connect it right, yeah, because there are places for these gears. and then you just screw it in, but don't apply too much pressure, because otherwise you're gonna break your cover the same way as I broke. Alright, so basically that's it. You're welcome.